What's going on, people? So this box of shoes came in earlier today, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up. Actually, I might not need anything extra. Sometimes they're pretty good about putting these little perforated edges on here nowadays, so that way you can just kind of tear right into it, kind of literally. It doesn't always work though. Like I think it was the copper video that the copper foam posit video that I did. Where I go to tear the thing and it just kind of falls right off, like one little piece of it was not helpful, right? But this is actually working out pretty all right. It was almost too easy to get into this, making me like feel a little insecure about this whole operation. Anyways, doesn't much matter. So this is the side of the box that some people might care to see. Adizero Evo SL, right? M, I assume for male, maybe. I don't know. These also could be unisex sizes, so I really just don't know what's going on there. But I do know that, boy, did I want these, and this is looking pretty all right so far. But that's only half the picture. Got to take them both out of the box. So, and then after this, I'm going to bring these guys in, talk about these for a little bit, because, as it says in the title or whatever, had some races this past weekend, which I kind of don't like calling them that, because I'm not really, like, racing anybody, at least not how I feel. But it's like there's a 5K on Saturday and a half marathon on Sunday. So get into that whenever it makes sense to get into that. But for right now, how's there like a hair on this? That is weird to me. If this was food, I'd be sending it back. All right, so everything looks like it's fine. Given how sought after these things kind of are right about now, I was wondering if like they were going to send me a pair that had been returned after being used or something. But these look like they are largely untouched. If anything, they could have been tried on perhaps, and maybe that was it. But it looks like they may actually just be untouched, which is very, very cool. Any Veronica's fans out there? Remember they had that song, Untouched? All right, let's talk about the bottom first. Actually, back it up just a little bit. Quick little introduction for those who might have missed it. This right here, Adidas, Adizero, Evo, SL, Lucid Green, or excuse me, Lucid Lemon, and Black, right? I look at this and I see green, I see Volt, I see stuff like that. But by Adidas standards, that's what they're calling it. If you saw my Ultra Boost 5, not 5X review, those were also Lucid Lemon. Across the bottom, what are we looking at down here? So it looks like you got like some Continental rubber down over here, which is going to be for the whole toe off thing. They did have that also, this very dingy strip on the adizero Adios Pro 4s. So as you're stepping off, that kind of gives you a little bit extra traction. Otherwise, the rest of it, I'm not sure what material that is. It's not the same light traction as those, but probably something decent enough. Let's move on up here to the midsole real quick. So these, unlike I guess I might as well pull these over now. Unlike these, it's not as fancy, right? This is going to be one more a solid block, as you kind of saw from the bottom. So just got this solid piece there. These things are freaking light. I had the same problem with these, actually, trying to hold on to them. What happened there? That's disgusting. So anyways, yeah, on the side of there, as you can see, it's all just going to be one big block. And it says down there, Light Strike Pro. That's what the midsole is made of. Upper-wise, it's going to be some kind of sort of a very plasticky mesh. And I don't know if you can quite tell or not down in there. Let's see, where's the flashlight? Like, you got a lot of light coming through because they're doing a lot of these like highly ventilated shoes nowadays, but like the siding, it's all just like, you can basically see right through there. See how that is? So that's going to be this whole thing minus, you got these black stripes over it, sure. But otherwise, it's all very open, even down to the toe box. You can see right on in there, which does lend to these being also super light, which is very cool. Otherwise, typical flat style tongue, like you have like the Nova Blast 3 style and all that stuff, got the little bevel at the top, kind of rocks around your ankle. So it doesn't quite slip and fall so much, though. It's not as tied down on the inside as you might see on other shoes, but it should still be okay for the most part. I mean, you got the lace thing here on the tongue, kind of holds it in place to some extent, so there is that. But otherwise, I think it'll be fine, And then just some big adizero stuff going on that one, and same on the other one, so I don't need to show you that one. And I don't know what the weight of these is, but they both feel about the same, honestly. Like this one feels a little bit heavier, but it does have the carbon, well, not the carbon plate, but it has those prongs down there that like carbon infused energy rods. Remember that 2.0, just so you're sure about what version it is. Anyway, so it's got that whole thing going on. These right here, in case anybody's curious, it's kind of like a cheaper version in a sense, comes in at 150 versus the 250, right? These were 250. So these are like more of like a race day sort of thing, right? These are made for every day, very similar to each other. It's just these have some extra flash and pizzazz behind them to give you that extra boost. And believe me, like I can definitely vouch for that. I wore those. I spent a week with those, right? So last Monday, wore these last Monday to one of my little run group things. And then I think I might have worn them at some other point during the week that I can't recall, honestly, but I just feel like I did. But maybe I didn't. I don't know. But then Saturday for the 5K, Saturday afternoon for some other run with like, there's some Adidas people down here. So I went out, did that. And then on Sunday was the half marathon. So I can say that like these are really good for like the race day, but I'll get into that more. But these are supposed to be more for like just your everyday sort of trainer type of thing. So you break these out through the week, and then when it matters, you come and you break out the Adios Pro 4s, right? But that's not to say that these won't be good for that. It's just if you want a little extra boost behind yourself. I mean, there's no boost in here, but I'm just saying like a little extra boost. This might not be your guy, but it should still work out very well for you. So I'm looking forward to wearing these though. I've heard a lot of good things. They didn't have them at the demo run this past weekend. They were mostly focused on both the Boston 12 and the Ultra Boost 5X because it was a lot of their Evo SL's shoes were just kind of tied up with other demo runs and stuff. So I think they'll probably be back soon enough though, and we'll bring some pairs back down then, you know. But given that this just came out, I think they'll still be doing pretty well for themselves. I don't see a product cycle replacing these for a while. So there is that. But all in all, these things are looking pretty all right. Slip these on real quick, see how they fit. I happen to have some running socks on right now just because I did just come back from running around. I was about to say quick, but it was not super quick, honestly. It was 6 miles though. Did that. Ran around, felt pretty all right for the most part, but the wind was brutal today, so I had to deal with that like the whole time basically. And then when it did finally let up, that's when like the incline part of the route kicked in. So yeah, all in all, it was just, I don't remember how long that was. It was an average of 8 minutes, so I guess a little over 48 minutes is how long that took. All right, yeah, it wasn't great. But these, as far as like the sizing and stuff goes, right? They don't feel like they don't feel as loose and flexible of a mesh sort of thing up in here. But at the same time, it's fine, like because there's enough room in there. I don't think anybody will have an issue. I went true to size, just like I did on these right here, 9.5. It's working out fine for me, right? You have a little bit of extra room, like lengthwise, as far as like in the front of the shoe and all that. And I can say there is a little bit on the side here. I would, in some ways, like I'm not going to commit to this right now because I'm sitting and I don't know what the drop is on these. It's like 6 on, I think it's like 6 on these, right? Something like that. So it might be 6 on these as well. I'm not sure, but either way, once you stand up and you kind of slide forward a little bit, the fit can be a little different. But right now, I almost feel like if my size wasn't available, I might want to go with a 9 instead of going up to a 10. But I'll figure that out later. But for right now, true to size is working out good. I've got no complaints about it. It should be pretty all right. So that's going to be my final say on that until I do the actual review, right? But right now, I'm just saying that's where I stand on these. But otherwise, I can't really say too much about how they're about like the tech behind them because I haven't really looked into it and all that stuff. But knowing what I know of the of the Pro 4, that should be just fine. So now, as far as like the review portion, the unboxing portion of this particular live, that's over. So now I'm just going to do a quick little recap and then a little follow-up on these because I happen to have just run in these today and a couple days ago, so it's kind of fresh in my head, so I may as well talk about it now, right? But anyways, this past weekend, like I was saying, there was a 5K on Saturday. There was a half marathon on Sunday. I did both because if you do both, you get like this extra medal, you know? And I'm a sucker for these extra medals. I'm not sure why. I get them and then I just put them in a bag with a bunch of other random medals and I just never see them again. So it's kind of unnecessary, but I do it. Anyway, so I went with these, right? Because this is kind of like, the race day shoe that I have right now, the newest. Well, it's not the newest one. Those Edges and Skies from Asics are the newest ones, but this is the one that I've been working with lately, right? And I brought these out. So 5K wise, like I was saying before, these things work out very well. You have a whole lot of like, I'll skip over all the details. You got a lot of stuff going on down in there that just kind of helps propel you through, like, because it's not plated, but it's got a similar plate sort of approach, right? And that down there, like, when I read that these things are supposed to give you this little spring action or whatever and push you through the steps, like, I don't always believe stuff like that, but having worn these, like, I can definitely say that's there because I know how much effort I'm putting in as far as like my own physical power or whatever, especially when there's like no wind or anything like that. And I put in like the same amount, but with certain things, you just still move along faster. And I was pretty high on the Kensei Maxes for that reason, and also the Magic Speed Force as well. But it was a whole new level with these right here, right? So they're also significantly lighter, so you have that, and a very different midsole too. Sure. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. So like the $250 that you spend on these, if you're really trying to get like a lot of performance out of whatever your footwear is, this is definitely something to consider. I haven't put the Metaspeed Edges or Skies on yet, so I can't really speak on that. But I heard a lot of hype about these, and to me, it's holding up to be pretty true, right? So I like that. And so it was basically like 7-minute miles for the whole 3 miles, and then, an extra little bit. So it ended up being like 21 something, because I think it was like 650 something, 70 something, 70 something, plus like the 0.1 mile, right? So it ended up being like high 21s as far as the overall time. Right. So still, pretty quick, I guess. But the thing was, it's just like the big thing to me is that I just didn't feel anything. Like I felt really smooth. Like I wasn't putting in any real effort to get through this thing. So that was pretty cool. I see these are a little bit dirty now though, like on the side. So I don't know what happened here, but half marathon will do that to you. So I'm honestly thinking like about getting another pair of these, which is crazy because I didn't want to spend the $250 the first time, but now I might actually, knowing about these, I might actually do it again, which is, I don't know, it's not something I should do, but I might do it. Anyway, so yeah, then Sunday, same thing, half marathon. I was with a pace group. We were just doing like 152 because there's a friend of mine that from the running store. It was his group, so I was just running with them or whatever. So I held that. It was like 8:30 for the first 10 miles, and then picked it up from there, right? Wearing these, running a little slower. Again, the 8:30 thing, they still felt really good because they got a lot of cushion down here. So that was pretty welcome, I'll say. And then when it was time to pick things up, this was a good one to have. So one of the complaints I had about the Kensei Max, which I like a whole lot and still like a whole lot, was if you're not moving quickly, those are not great, right? Once you get going, they're good. But this one right here, I was able to do it slower, do it faster, and still feel pretty good. The Kensei Maxes, that's a speed shoe. Like if you're not doing that, you might want to be wearing something else. So all in all, these are working out pretty all right. I'm not a big shoe cleaning guy, but these look like they have been to war. So that I'm probably gonna like actually at least wipe them off a little bit. I feel like this kind of material, I should be able to just like wipe it off. It's not like some sort of other meshes. I feel like this will just clean off real easy. Now moving on past those though, these right here, I pulled these out a couple times. So after all the running, because I did actually, I also wore these on Monday, Well, that was yesterday. Yesterday, I went to another running group and did like 3 miles. It was like maybe like a 7:30-ish pace, I think, something like that. But my foot was kind of hurting from the previous day, so I figured I should probably not do that, but I did it anyway. But today I said, okay, well, I'm gonna wear these because these glycerin maxes, right? There's a whole lot of cushion down here, but as big and bulky as it looks, they feel so light on feet. Like they're good 10.5 ounces, so they're not actually light, but wearing them, they just felt right. It's crazy. So I figured since I have a little bit of a pain in like the front of my right foot, I'm gonna wear these because when I'm walking around in these, running around in these, whatever, it's like you don't feel anything under here. It's like all you feel is just it's like you're floating, and it's crazy. So I was wearing these today. I wore these also last week. They felt great, like on my first day out with them. So I knew like today they'd be a good choice. Like I said, I did a little bit ago, like 6 miles. It was around 8:30-ish for the first three, and then I don't know, like 7:30 maybe for the last three, something like that. I don't know. But these, they felt really good the whole time. The one thing I will say is, and you can probably look at these and tell, they are not for speed, right? Like I tried to pick it up on those last 3 miles, and I did, but it took everything I had. I mean, I'd already been beaten down by like the wind for the first 3 miles, so I was not fresh, right? And I was also coming off of a fairly large lunch. So going into like those last 3 miles with these, I was like, everything is working against me. Like you can still do it if you put in enough effort, I guess, but these are just not made to move quickly. But if you're going at like a decent average type of pace or whatever, this right here is definitely something to consider. I mean, they come in at 200, so they're a little expensive. And which one is it? This right here. The Super Blast 2 also comes in at 200, right? So overall, I mean, I'd have to side with these just because you can also go fast in them, like really fast in them, and you can still kind of slow it down when you need to, right? So they got all that going on. But I need to put these on again. I haven't worn a pair of Super Blast 2s in like a couple months at this point. But I'm feeling like this is like the more comfortable one just to like walk around in. And it's a little more accessible because the Super Blasts, I don't know, they bring out a couple colors, they sell out, and they bring out a couple new colors, and the color selection isn't super great. They got some decent options. I have the two that I would care to have, honestly, but the other ones weren't bad either. So yeah, this right here, the Glycerin Max, I don't know if I actually said the name of it, London Fog colorway, worked out very well today. Excellent recovery type of shoe. So if that's a thing that you need, definitely consider those. Or if you just want something comfortable to walk around in, because as you see on the side, some shoes are made for running and walking, and this is one of them. That's kind of focuses on there. Because when you wear stuff that's like made straight up for running, to me, like you should just leave it for that. Not every like straight up running shoe feels good to walk in. I've been saying that since the Pegasus 35 Turbo, and it still holds true, right? But anyways, so that's enough out of me. I'll do a quick little thing, recap on the whatever it was I opened with, which was what was this? The Adidas Adizero Evo SL Lucid Lemon, right, and black, obviously. So very nice. They fit true to size. I like them a whole lot. It's just a sort of a slimmed down version, tech-wise, of the Adios Pro 4. So you don't have all the carbon plating and all that stuff and whatnot. But, well, it's not a plate, but you have everything you need for training-wise, getting ready for race day, and then you bring those bad boys out on race day, and then everything should be great. So yeah, very cool. I'm liking these a whole lot. They came in stock. I had set up a little Adidas alert. They were like, hey, the size you want, it's back in stock. I bought them immediately. I was in the middle of a conversation with somebody when that actually happened. I just saw the alert on my watch. I was like, well, they won't mind because it's a good friend of mine. So I just bought them on the spot. So, hey, hold on 1 second. So I did that. And this was Sunday. I bought these Sunday after the half, right? And they arrived today. So super fast. Very, very happy about that. And I'm looking forward to trying them at some point. But at this point, if you've been following along, I got a bit of a backlog of shoes to work through, right? So I don't know when I'm going to get through all this, but I got a lot of runs coming up, so it'll work itself out one way or another. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I should finish editing the review for these over here. What is this? This is going to be the next video you see if you happen to watch my stuff or whatever. The winterized Ghost 16 and the what is this? The Gore-Tex Adrenaline GTS 23, right? The Gore-Tex versus the winterized. It's really just kind of like talking about like the differences and whatnot, you know. So that'll be the next video I do, and then I got to look back and see like what all I have and when I bought it, so I can remember like what order I'm supposed to record and upload this crap in. So that's what's going on over here, and a bunch of card stuff because I got some cards that arrived today and some more that arrive, I guess, in 2 days. So that's going to be pretty cool too. But yeah, so that's all that's going on over here. Thanks for like stopping in, listening to this nonsense or whatever. But now I'm going to go eat dinner and stuff. So have fun doing whatever it is you're going to do. All right. Later, people.